Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world's most famous podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacqueline Maddison. Today, we have a powerful and purpose-driven episode featuring Paul and Joan Tembunde, faith-filled entrepreneurs, transformational coaches, and founders of Premier Destiny. From arriving in the United States and taking a bold leap of faith, they have built a thriving life and business rooted in spiritual truth and financial wisdom. Today, they empower others to discover their divine calling, unlock abundance, and step into destiny with confidence. I'm excited to welcome them to the show. Let's welcome Paul.
Well, it's wonderful to have you. It's such an honor to be able to spend some time with you today. I'm very excited to learn more about your story and how you came to be, the founder and life coach with the Premier Destiny organization. So let's start from the beginning. Can you take us back to your immigration story, what brought you to the United States and that leap of faith?
And my story is a real long one. I came here many years ago from Cameroon, West Africa. About 20, I was 20 by then. And when I came over to pursue my college, studies, there was something about America. I got to tell you, Jacqueline, there was something about America that just invited me. There was something, because I had a chance to go to England. My uncle was in England. I could have gone to England. I could have gone to other countries within Africa at that point. And Dad was able to afford it. Okay, so Dad was doing pretty well. He could afford it, but somehow there's something about America. There was something.
Yeah, I'm also an immigrant. My family moved us here from South Africa. So, the American dream is still good and well and very much alive for those of us who have traveled from other places.
Yes, indeed it is, Jacqueline. So, my wife now, who used to be my college sweetheart, so we both separated at that time. Yeah, she went up to England, and I came here. And so I was trying to find my way. Like I said, I came as a student, and then along the way, got bitten by the American bug, business bug, really, to stay. I graduated college, and I was thinking about what I was going to do. Now, I had this faint dream being a stockbroker. Faint. It was pretty faint. But I said, well, Paul, you're not good in math, so statistics or whatnot. So that might not be the way to go. So I did some jobs, worked as a security guard, worked as a leasing consultant for a management company that rented properties, did some of that. And along the way, Joan decided to come join me. So she had just graduated. She had just completed her master's degree in international business finance. So she had to come join me. She came over, and we started our family. In the process, in fact, before she came, I realized that there was something, I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. So I was introduced to Amway. This is years ago, kind of dating me now, but it is what it is, right? So I was introduced to Amway, which was, back then, it was usually called a soap company. That was a big thing. And they sold other products too, but it was more network marketing, soap and all that. So I was excited. I said, wow, get a chance to own my own business, for a couple of $100, and all of that. So got involved, enjoyed it, but I did not make much money. I did not make much money at all. I mostly bought stuff for myself, so it wasn't, it wasn't a money-making venture. But I
hope, but not so great a result.
Yeah, exactly.
And as an entrepreneur myself, there were a few things I tried and dabbled in and never really came to fruition. But I think that's part of the entrepreneurial experience, trial and error. You learn as you go.
It is, Jacqueline. And the interesting thing, Jacqueline, was that there were two sides to, exactly. There were two sides to the Amway experience for me. I was also introduced to personal development. Okay, books, inspirational books, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and books of that nature that inspired me. I love to read. So, boy, that got me going now, man. They told me you could be whatever you wanted to be if you could just learn and grow and develop as a person.
Right.
So that got me excited. I got into books, learned, met leaders who had kind of grew, had become better people, and hence be able to get into business. I learned that. So I kept learning. Joan came on. We started looking around. We got involved in IT back then. We got involved in IT, and we thought that was a ticket to freedom, as it were. Joan became a database administrator. I became a Microsoft systems engineer. We were like, wow, this is great. Because earlier before that, Jacqueline, we weren't able to pay our rent on one check. Okay, and we lived in a small one-bedroom apartment back then. We could not do it. I mean, I had to get my check as a security guard or a leasing consultant, wait for Joan's check to come to add it to pay rent.
Right.
All right. We shopped at the cheapest stores because that's all we could afford. All right. I mean, hey, listen, it is part of my story, right?
That's right. Humble beginning.
Yes. We went to certain stores. We ate certain foods. There's a certain drink. It's one of this, and it was so interesting. It was this. The soda was kind of frozen. I mean, well, not the soda. It was the juice was frozen. You had to mix water in it to make juice. Well, it is. I mean, that's what we did, right? I mean, we did that. We only bought our clothes and whatnot at certain stores because that's all we could afford, Jacqueline. No big deal. We did that. You do what you got to do. So, yeah. But when Joan became a database administrator and I became Microsoft certified systems engineer, boy, we could use one check and pay the rent or mortgage and still have some leftovers. So, awesome. We're excited.
Moving on up, right?
Yes, moving on up. That's right. We thought we had arrived. American dream was here. We're excited. We bought a townhouse. Qualified for it. All of that. So we're excited. And then the kids started coming along. And then we realized pretty quickly that there was a lot of months left at the end of the money. We just couldn't meet up. So we got to thinking again. And so, well, what is this? I mean, how? And then we got introduced to folks again from Amway that were doing so well. And we started reading books and so that it was possible. Well, what did we do? So we started looking around. At that time, Joan was working as a CNA, certified nursing assistant. She was taking care of seniors in their homes and whatnot, and helping them out with activities of daily living. That's what we do. She was doing that, and she was doing some other stuff on this. She had done that, So she said, honey, I think this home care industry is probably something we need to look at. Because everything else we wanted to do was cost so much money. We had no money, right, Jacqueline? Mm-hmm. We had no uncles or aunts to borrow from, nothing. Mm-hmm. We barely had good credit, barely. Yeah. So, well, honey, maybe we ought to look at this whole thing about the, about the home care. Let's see what that does. So we investigated it. We found out that it didn't cost as much to get in. So we borrowed some money, did some research, borrowed some money. In fact, we took a loan from our credit card, $12,000 and some change, a line of credit on our credit card, and we invested it in this agency. It's a franchise, and we said, well, let's give it a shot. This is our chance to the American dream.
Wow.
So that's what we did. Joan was working. I had just been laid off from my job as a Microsoft systems engineer. I'd been laid off, so I used to be home doing the work. I mean, we couldn't afford an office, so we worked from this. We started from the basement of our townhouse. All right. I used to have two phones, one for the clients, one for the caregivers. Well, you do what you got to do, Jacqueline. So when a caregiver calls, I answer. I mean, find out the one work. If a client calls, I answer. Find out the one services. That's how we used to do it. We had. I was the journalist. The director of service.
That's a giant leap of faith, to go all in with credit card debt and having just lost your job, and a lot of people now are losing their jobs. But the positive is that when one door closes, a whole new window of opportunity and possibility opens. And look, you pursued your dream after just being 100%. Laid off, and that's what you should do.
Yes. Thank you, Jacqueline. Yes, that's what we did. So we were out there, and so we felt we wanted to do something, wanted to control our own destiny. We finally had a chance to do it. We finally had a chance, so we said we're going to go for it. So we had no office, like I said. We worked from the basement of the house, and we had, essentially what would happen. We could not bring clients to our home, so we met them, coffee shops. We met some. In fact, we rented space at an office building. Because we use that address as our office address. So you want to meet us, we have to go rent a room there and meet with you as a client. But then our caregivers, our employees, we met with them at different places. And I'll tell you something. Libraries was a good one for us. We met in libraries because, Jacqueline, it was easy. You meet someone at the library, You get their information. They can fill out the paperwork. You make copies of the driver's license, social security number, work employment. You do all of that. Hey, library. So that was our office.
Nice.
Okay. I mean, payday, come payday, I would take checks. We'll mail some. I meet them at a McDonald's, pay them there.
Yeah.
I meet them at a Wendy's. I mean, you just do what you got to do. So, like I said, we did everything. HR, accounting, payroll. We just did it.
Yeah, you wear all the hats.
I tell you, the first
point.
few years, you wear all. That's exactly right. So the first few years were the hardest years of our life, but we loved it. We had a dream. We saw that we could make it. It was interesting because we saw we're making a difference. We're serving people, Jacqueline. And being in business, as you have been and you are, it's about service, right? It's about service. So, and we saw seniors that needed our care. They were vulnerable. We had to be there for them. They had some of them had no family members around. Family members were distant, the other side of the country. We had to be there for them. So that was our mission, and we worked on it. So about a year and a half, 2 years into the first one, we bought the first office. You remember the first one we had to borrow from our credit card, right? To pay for this, $12,000 and some change. 2 years into this business, because of how involved we were, how excited we were, how much we were interested in working and making this happen. 2 years into the business, we were able to buy a second office. And would you believe that the second office was twice as large as the first one?
Wow.
And we paid for it cash, Jacqueline.
Fantastic. So what business was this that you went into?
It's home care. It's
home care. The home care. Apologies. Okay, got it. I'm excited to get to the premier destination. So
we're going to get there.
Home care.
It's a long walk. We'll get it. So we got that. We bought that second office. Grew it again. Grew some more. Hired more people. Take care of hundreds of people. Grew that. And then eventually we bought a third office. Wow. Okay, again, out of that first humble beginning here. And then eventually a fourth office. So we now have 4 offices that we're managing, serving hundreds of clients. Actually, thousands of clients at this point, because we've served many of them.
That's amazing growth. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We've been in business 23 years and then 100. Now, about, say, 10 years into our business, maybe 10, 12 years into our business, it was doing well, and thank God for that. I started I was a bit bored, Jacqueline. It must be the entrepreneur in me, right?
That's
I was wondering, kind of figure this out. Is there more out there I can do? That was me. Me. Joan, my wife Joan, was fine, but I just felt like there was something. I was kind of getting a bit bored. So, being a person of faith, Jacqueline, I prayed. And I spent time just thinking, meditating, just trying to feel what's out there, And I was led to the gentleman who became my mentor. One day I was out walking, because I try to get out and walk every morning. I was listening to him on YouTube, and this gentleman came on. He said that a lot of people don't succeed in life because they don't know what they're after. They don't know.
Right.
They don't know what they want. What do you want? It says, and most of it's out of ignorance. A lot of people don't know. It says, ignorance is not knowing. We all have some degree of ignorance. You just don't know. You can't know everything. He says, that's the problem. He says,
I'm a person of faith too, and the Bible actually says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, or without a vision. Forgive me. Well, both of the scriptures are correct. Yes. But the one says, without a vision, people perish. That's why it's so important we have a dream and a vision for our future that we're pursuing.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jacqueline. You're right. So I took that. So he said that this gentleman was also a Christian, which is good. He further said that what drives away ignorance is knowledge. Okay. And he said, look, it's almost like darkness. What drives away darkness? Light.
Only light.
So guys, you just got to get some light.
Right.
So long story short, I signed up for his program, a year-long program, and I began. This is unbeknownst to my wife. My wife didn't know about this now. I signed up for his program, year-long program, and I went and had him coach me. In the process, I learned a lot of things about me. I learned a lot of things. One of the things I learned was that I had gifts in me that had been unexplored.
Yes.
I could do so much more than I was already doing.
Right.
We live in an abundant world. You have to find out what you want, because without that, it's almost like you die with the music in you.
Yeah, it's like
Learn
these
so much.
dormant talents. I think God designed and created all of us with unique gifts and talents, and part of the
100%.
life purpose
Yes.
and journey is to self-discovery of those talents and
Yes.
then utilizing them in service to others.
Yes. Yes. So like what you do, Jacqueline, just like what you do. I mean, you have this platform here to have folks talk. That's your calling. That's something that's valuable. You're serving.
That's right.
And I think we're all called to do that. And I think so. He got me thinking, and then I could see him. He shared some books with us. Eventually my wife joined me. Okay, remember, she wasn't aware. Eventually
Right.
she joined. I had her say, honey, why don't you check this out? And then she loved it. Ultimately, down the road, she was able to write a book because of that. Okay, which is, in fact, she wrote a book called, I'll share with you here. This is my wife's book. Yeah.
Money
It's an international
Locates
bestseller.
You. Interesting title.
Yeah. This is yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
So
mean,
she was able to write a book as a result
mhm.
of this, and which became. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, do tell us about the book.
Yeah. Yeah. So she wrote this book, and it's about money. Money locates you, and it's all spiritually based. Okay. So and I'll share. I mean, I'll share as a freebie to your audience. I'll send you a ebook version of it. Okay, so you'll be
Oh,
able to have access to
lovely.
you and your audience.
But where can they
Showed
buy
us
the
that
book?
there was so much
A lot
more
of
we
people
could
still
do.
like the hard copy. Can they get it
There's so
on
much that we could
Amazon,
do.
your website?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can get it on Amazon. Oh, it is on Amazon. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
It is on Amazon. Oh yeah, it is on there. Yeah. But
There we
again, your
go.
audience will have the ebook version as part of as our gift to you today. And Jacqueline,
Thank
so what happened was, so when we saw what it could do, we saw what this information could do, the way it transformed our mind. We were able to use the knowledge from training from our mentor to that's how come we were able to buy the third office and the fourth office. It was because of this knowledge. Because we realized that success has to do a lot more with your mindset than strategy. Because you can have the best strategy, but if you have the wrong mindset, you're not going to go any place.
Right. It's
And
so
that's how
true.
come we decided.
That's what, yes,
That's
success is a mindset.
yes,
It has to be.
yes,
Mm.
yes. So from there, then we decided, so well, let's if this thing is good, if this has made such a difference in our life, our personal lives, our kids' lives, our business lives, why don't we share it with the world?
Right.
And come to find out, that's what we're called to do. I was called it, it was just called to inspire other people, to help them also seek out, find out what their greatness is, what are their gifts to share in the world. So that's why we decided to form Premier Destiny LLC,
Ta-da!
where we
Premier
serve.
Destiny. I love the name.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you. That's where we serve people, and we say that Premier Destiny, what we do is that we enlighten people, empower them, and inspire them to bring out the greatness that's in them.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Beautiful. I mean, we are all here with a unique destiny, and I think we have failed at life if we don't fulfill our destinies.
100%.
So what you're doing, your service, is so tremendously vital for people to seek, to fulfill their destiny.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you. And again, like I said, it did not. I mean, it was more. We just felt. See, like you said, we all are so uniquely qualified in so many things. Yeah. But the challenge is that we're so beaten down by circumstances, by the wrong mindset, by the wrong influences, that we never get a chance to find out what we're called to do.
Right.
And like I said, the saddest thing for me is to die with your music still in you.
Wow.
That's the saddest thing.
Yes.
That is the saddest thing. I mean, we may want to harp on other circumstances. I mean, like they say, one of my mentors says that in life you have determining factors, you have contributing factors, right? Determining factors are things like our philosophy, right? Honesty, your character, those things that make us. All of us have circumstances. Yeah. All of us. I mean, all of us have 24 hours in a day. But how come yours is more productive and mine isn't? That is the issue.
Yeah.
I think that's where. So again, what Joan and I do at Premier Destiny is that we just help folks discover that There's greatness in them, but if no one shines the light on them, how they gonna be able to make it?
Yeah.
You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's fantastic. So what mindsets are essential for financial abundance?
For us, again, good question there, Jacqueline. For us, it's more you have to have a growth mindset. A growth mindset is a mindset that believes in the fact that that you can learn, you can grow. Because again, Joan and I had this mindset in us, but someone had to bring it up for us, had to help us bring it up, put it out, right? We had to be exposed. Awareness to us is important.
Yeah.
If you're not aware, you can't take advantage of it. It's almost like, let's say you must be in California, Jacqueline, but I'm in Maryland. Let's say the governor invited you or the president invited you to a state dinner, but you never got the invitation, but you were invited. So if you're not aware of that invitation, you cannot take advantage of it.
Right.
So awareness is a big deal. And how do you get awareness from growth? Exposure. Yeah. You can expose yourself to programs like your program. I was listening, you talk to a gentleman, about who runs a waste management. He's kind of a serial entrepreneur. I was listening. Yeah,
right.
It's exposure. When you hear what other people have gone through, then you can say, wait a minute.
Right.
If they can do it, how about me?
Yeah. So you have to be open to learning and
absolutely
open to possibilities.
Yes, you can't be fixed mindset. You cannot say, well, there's only so much to go around. No. There's as much to go around as you choose to create it.
Right.
You cannot dabble in victimhood. That's a big part of something I just don't stand for. Joan and I don't. We try to encourage folks, don't worry about victimhood is the biggest killer.
Oh, that's so true.
Because,
it's like you can be victim or a victor, but you got to choose.
Exactly. Because, again, at the end of the day, Jacqueline, we all have 24 hours. How come you can make yours that much more prosperous for you? I can't.
Right.
I mean, where does the blame end? Right? Where does the blame end? I mean, you and I've heard and read stories where two identical twins are born, but they all show up differently in the world. Right? I mean, who are you going to blame here? So we got to take some personal responsibility.
Right.
And I think So that's the way I look at it.
And I think it's about taking responsibility for our free will. Like I said, God has given us the greatest gift of life, and the second greatest gift is our free will. And our free will choices determine our destiny, whether or not we fulfill it or fail. And like you said, if we all have the same 24 hours a day, we all have opportunities to make decisions.
100%.
That determines, as you said, the determining factor of how that 24 hours is going to be spent. So now, sorry, go on.
I was just going to add this, Jacqueline, and to add to what you just said, Jacqueline, we live in the greatest country on earth.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I listen to the news and how many folks are trying to get in, all of that. We live in the greatest country on earth. The opportunity that's available here is nowhere else. It doesn't exist.
That's right.
So we have to take advantage of what's here in a good way, and be part of the solution. The challenge is everywhere.
Like you say, let's not take advantage of it. I think a better way to put that is let's not take it for granted.
Exactly.
The opportunity we have, the freedom in America to explore all limitless possibilities of reaching for our greatest potential as human beings.
Yes, that's it. I mean, because it's out there. I mean, like I said, we just have to, and again, it goes back to perspective again. You're looking at the cup as half full or half empty.
Right.
There's enough limit. I mean, where's my part of this? Where's my part in this? How can I be a better human being, a better husband, better wife, better family member, whatever? I think that's what we all need to do.
It's so true. I always say you don't achieve success. You become it. And it's a journey. It's a process.
100%.
Like you've endured it yourself, and it's also never ending. I feel like
you're right. And to add to that, Jacqueline, there's this concept called the be, do, have concept. I'm sure you know that. You got to be before you can have. But you have to be before you can do. Right. You got to do before you can have.
Right.
But a lot of us don't want to be. And that's where the work happens. That internal work, that becoming a better version of who you are supposed to be, or the best version of who you're supposed to be. I think that's what we should be all about. Because once you become that best version of who you're supposed to be, then you can do what you want. You can have what you want.
I love it. So now you believe money is spiritual before it's practical. Tell us about that mindset.
Well, I believe in abundance, Jacqueline. I believe in abundance. If it's abundant, it means available anywhere, any place. We can all get it. We can manifest it. I believe in manifesting abundance in our lives. And we're all people of faith, which is a good thing. We know that the world is abundant. I mean, if you just look at what's out there, I mean, we don't run out of fish in the sea, do we? I mean, look at the most important assets we have, air. I mean, if we had to pay for that, can you imagine how much would put out just to get air? How about sunlight?
Right.
How about sunlight? So I mean, think about it. I mean, just oftentimes when someone gets sick and they have to replace a limb or whatever, we just see how much cost that's involved, right? So we're abundant. We're multi-millionaires in our own being. We are already.
I agree. I'm of the same mind. There is more than enough opportunity, wealth, all resources for each and every one of us to live in the limitless supply of the abundance God has created in this world.
Yes, amen, amen. In fact, Jacqueline, if you look at even the birds, I mean, God is so magnificent and abundant. Even the birds are taken care of.
Right.
But the food is not going to come meet you. The bird is not going to stay in the nest and the food come there. It has to go get it.
Excellent point.
It has to go get it.
Yeah. You know what else? And this reminds me of the scripture where the Lord says, look at the flowers of the fields and how arrayed in beauty they are. How much more will I give to you and array you with the beauty and really the wealth of the world if you just trust in me, really, and that's what faith is. Faith is trust in God, and that there is a limitless supply. You don't have to worry. Just pursue your dream and have faith.
Jacqueline, you've said it all. I mean, it's about faith, and as we also know, that very Bible talks about faith without works is dead. Right?
That's right.
You gotta get out and get it. You gotta step.
You gotta go for it.
Up to the plate. Meet him halfway. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Meet him halfway. Do something, man. Yeah, go for it. And that's what you're all about. We just want to share, because a lot of us sometimes get frustrated, and it's understandably so. I mean, we get frustrated because this challenge comes up, or this issue, or this, that, the other. But I think we gotta know what we want. Because once you know what we want, and you believe in this God that we all serve, and you believe that we're all on a mission, because I believe that strongly. Each and every one of us is here for a mission.
Sure.
And once you find that mission, life it takes a different angle.
Well, another scripture, the Bible says that faith is the evidence of things not seen and the substance of things hoped for. So faith is a supernatural spiritual substance that God marries to bring forth and manifest our dream life. So we essentially co-create our future, our destinies, working with God by faith. Because he supernaturally aligns us with the right people, the right opportunities, the right resources when we move forward in faith. So it's so important for the fulfillment of our destiny.
Yeah. No, Jacqueline, you're right. You 100%, Jacqueline. Well, he did it for you and I. He aligned us to be in touch today.
Here we are. We're a living example.
Yes.
So,
we have to step out there in faith.
Who would benefit from working with Premier Destiny most?
That's a fantastic question, Jacqueline. Thank you. Well, we work with business owners, especially small business owners, folks folks in home care, or folks who just want to develop themselves. Mm-hmm. Professionals out there that want to find out what their mission is.
Great.
We take them to a process that makes it happen for them. Business owners who are looking to grow their business, especially home care, which is what we've done for 23 plus years now. We help them also scale the business so that it's just not it's not a bore for them. It's something they enjoy doing. We like to be able to help folks look at change their perspective on success. Because people look at it differently. What is your perspective on it? One, folks have a meaningful existence, a meaningful life. Because as you and I know, it's not just the money part. That's one piece of it.
Absolutely.
How about your health? How about your fun time? How about your relationships?
So what's the biggest block that you see people struggling with in their financials or in their business or their manifestation of their dream life?
I think, Jacqueline, that it is lack of awareness, which leads into victimhood. Why me? The system is stacked against me.
Right.
I don't have enough. I can't do enough. This challenge, that challenge.
Uh-huh.
It all comes down to, again, awareness. Because if you know that everyone faces challenges, then you have a different perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know that with those challenges that you go through, it's a journey like you talked about, right? And everyone is on their journey. I call it, to me, it's more of a toll gate. It's almost like you're paying tolls to get to someplace.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay those tolls.
Uh-huh.
So it's how you look at it. You have to just raise your awareness to it.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, because a lot of times those challenges stop people, hold them back, whereas I think in the victim mentality, right? Whereas I think when you have the paradigm shift from the victim to the victor, now you see those challenges as opportunities to conquer, to overcome, to fight and grow through, which ultimately make us, I saw a quote, which make us stronger, wiser, and better, but I saw a quote the other day that said, the things that we build end up building us. And I thought that was so profound because it's so true. So like when we're willing to overcome those challenges, it builds us as a human being. And it's
100%. In fact, and another quote also, Jacqueline, that I saw was that all what you want, the best life that you want, is on the other side of your fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting because, like you said, I look at it as a journey. I was talking to someone earlier. I said that we can't, whatever it is, it's our story. It's what makes us here. We can use it as a reference point or as a burden, because that's what it's all part of our attitude, and that's what attitude is all about too. It could be your beacon or your burden, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Right.
That is so true.
You look at it you look at it as a beacon, something you look at as part of your story, because everyone has a story. You and I talked about earlier how everyone is unique. We're all unicorns. Think about it.
I love that.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
It's true.
We should embrace our history, whatever it is, and use it as a teachable moment, if you will, because you can't really teach from abstract, right? You got to have a reference point. So if someone comes to me, well, Paul, have you been without? I say, oh yeah, I have, and I go back to that history, that reference point where I had it out. In fact, Jacqueline, my wife, when we were struggling, coming up and all of that, my wife used to make me a peanut butter, and jelly sandwich and whatnot, and sometimes cheese and ham sandwiches. I don't want to see that anymore.
Right.
That reminds me of way back when we were struggling.
Uh-huh.
There's certain orange juices, I think I mentioned to you, that you had to mix it with some water so it would come out and you could drink, the kids would too. That was then.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of my history. That was then. It was a toll gate. I had to go through that to get to where I am. But if we're not willing to, go through that change, if you will, which is for the good, I believe, because it builds us. Remember, do, have. You have to be first.
So what daily habits or disciplines do you recommend for someone to start shifting their mindset and kind of moving in the right directions toward their destiny? Obviously, working with a professional mentor like yourself is ideal. But for someone who, let's say, needs to just start making changes today after listening to this and they really want to start shifting.
That's a fantastic question, Jacqueline. Number one is that I would have them read, get books that help shape your mind. You got to have a reading system in place. You don't have to read the whole book one day. I just spend half an hour a day reading books that inspire, that motivate, that bring out to tell you about how great you can be, where you are really, because you're already great, right? I talked about Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, was a big one for me. I love that book. Inspirational books. I would listen to inspirational audios that speak to your potential. I've spent some time just connecting with God. Folks say universe, that's fine, but for me it's God. And just find out what does God want for me. Because we're all put in here for a reason.
It's so
and unless
true.
you find that reason.
You know, one of almost my daily prayers are, you know, to God to align me with your will and fulfill my destiny. I mean, that's one of the most powerful prayers and requests we can ask of our Creator who sent us here with the destiny blueprint, is to ask Him to lead us and guide us into it. He will happily help us.
Yes. No, I do that too, Jacqueline. Thank you. So I do that, and I spend time meditating. Just speak to myself, find out what is in store for me, what needs to happen for me. I engage in some regular exercises. I want to have some goals. You got to be shooting for something, because as one of our big leaders said, Zig Ziglar says that you're either meaningful specific or you're wandering generality. You got to be meaningful specific. You got to want something. What do you want? Find out what you want. I'll put my goals down. What do I want? And then get around folks that are about growth, folks that are looking to uplifting, get away from victimhood. Change your language. Poor me, whatever. Get rid of that. Absolutely. Get around people that are about growth. They want to do better. They looking to move ahead in life. That's it, because as you know, Jacqueline, a big part of this is who you surround yourself with.
So true. So how can they work with you? How can they get in touch with you and become part of the Premier Destiny program so they can get aligned with their destiny today?
You just go to askjoanandpaul.com. It's easy. We have premierdestiny.com. You can do that too. I think you can probably put it in chat notes or something, Jacqueline. Askjoanandpaul.com. And again, I talked about a freebie that we have there. We have a lot of affirmations in there that can help anyone. And if you have any questions, send us a question. We'll be glad to support and help whoever's out there. Because again, Jacqueline, we believe strongly, Joan and I believe strongly that there's greatness in every one of us. But if someone doesn't shine a light on it, we may never know we had it.
Wow.
That to me is the saddest thing. We're here to serve one another.
That's right.
I mean, someone served me. Someone shone the light on me.
I love it.
This mentor out of Canada showed me the light. And from there, I was able to then say, hey, listen, let me light someone else's candle. That's what it's all about. It's about making a difference. It's about making a difference. True.
Well, you are certainly a beacon in the world, a beacon of knowledge and inspiration and hope for those that they too can fulfill their destiny. It's been such an honor spending some time with you today, and thank you for the service that you are bringing to the world. And I wish you endless and boundless and limitless success with all that you do.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. It's been an honor as well. Thank you so much.
God bless you. We'll see you soon.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
See you soon, Jacqueline. Bye-bye.